guys. We're back on part 2 of the DRO project. Quite a few people commented, I suppose predictably actually, why did I mount this to the front and not the back? And I did answer some of those comments, and I'll do a bit of handheld in a minute and show you the back and also the what I'm planning on the y-axis, which I'm hoping will be a lot less complicated. I agree that this is a bit vulnerable. I shall have to be careful. Hopefully we'll get away with it. And the cable aspect, which I've still got to resolve, I've got some right angle connectors coming, or cable with right angle, so I should be able to come out from there to the side. I will probably, I've taken off the guide at the top, not the guide, I've taken off the cable clamp from the top here. I don't really need it. The way I had it before wasn't particularly pretty. I'll probably come out from the bottom and make this, secure it to this end of the slider, probably one way or another. I'm fully across at the moment to get access for the Y. I'll go handheld and I'll just show you a little bit of what I'm planning. Alright, first off, this is the back of the table. It's pretty much fully forward at the moment, but this way guard crunches up real tight when you're coming a long way forward, and I guess there might be some other way of fitting it so it wasn't in the way, but that just bunches up tight against the back. And also, with all the clutter I've got around everywhere, it wouldn't be that easy to get at the table. I suppose, I mean, the other end it's stuck out. I could probably drill that and manage, take the end piece off. I suppose it's something I might even try later, but basically the slider is going to have a problem, I think, with regards to this. Anyway, the thing is, I went for the front method, and maybe I'll live to regret it, but it was an interesting challenge. Anyway, onto the Y. Now this is just dummied up at the moment. That is, I think I measured it about 33 degrees. Weird. I've got a piece of aluminum bar to bring this forward, which will allow for the cable coming out here to have plenty of space. These are just propping it up. And then that sort of stick, cocktail stick thing, is actually, this was an experiment, you might just see in there's a spacer. I just got that spacer is almost spot on. So what I did was, just a minute, what I did was I took one of the supplied brackets, those two holes are matching holes in the back of the slider. So what I did with this one, the other one, which is spare, I've changed that 90-degree bend to something approximating the 33. So what we're doing, and we'll see if this will show, it might not show very easily, let's see. So if you can ignore that little long cocktail stick thingy, the bracket bend matches that angle, and it's fitted to the back of the slider. So I'm hoping here that one drill and tap to take the bracket should give me a good enough mounting on the Y, and then we'll set this to a suitable, well, the required height on the piece of aluminum bar. So it's all a case of measure, drill, tap, fit this, fit that, and see how it goes. I think it'll be a lot less complicated than the other on the X, which that's fully across on the X. So anyway, whether that was a big mistake, I don't know, we'll have to see. I'll just have to take care of it. Anyway, I'll come back soon and we'll try and get this Y sorted out. Alright, a bit of an update. I mentioned about having used one of the supplied brackets. This one I didn't need, but this one has been tweaked, and if you can see, I'm trying to get the you can see there we're fitted to the back, and we've taken that 90° out so that we can get onto the Y table, well, the Y casting. So we've got a spacer for that, which was a little bit empirical. I'm just going to put this in place. So what we've done is, sorry if my hand's going to be well in the way here, but I'm using oh dear, trying to get the darn thing started. I'm using 1024 cap screws again. So if I get that cinched up there, and we're about, we've got to go a little bit this way, I suppose. I've actually drilled, I've got to get that set up there. I've actually drilled, you may have seen the holes actually just now before I cover them up. There's one here and one there for the slotted ends. I mentioned before about this big slab of aluminum bar, which seems pretty pointless actually. I was going to fit that first and then fit this to it. What I need really is two spacers, and I've measured as accurately as I can by various methods, and I'm just about to get on the lathe and make a spacer button for each end, and the measurements at the moment come out at the 600 thou, pretty much close to it. So I'm going to make them at 600. I can always shim with the washer, or if they're a little bit too fat, just machine a little bit off. Right, I didn't bother you with this on the lathe. It was just bore out clearance and part off, a couple of 600 blocks spacers. I don't know whether they're going to be enough or too much, so I'm going to see if I can get that one. Feels fairly good in there. Oops. Oh dear, I'm going to get these in position and come back to you. Oh, glad I didn't waste your time on that. Took ages to find the holes and get the bolts started. Anyway, we're pretty much set up there. Another point of interest, we're about as far back on the Z as we can go. There's still potentially a bit more travel, but can you see how crunched up? So I'm trying to see, yeah, you can see it. That way guard is crunched up into a letter S, very tight. Now if, and it wouldn't happen that often perhaps, but if I wanted to get all the way back for some particular job, if I had the XDRO on the back, we'd be in trouble. Just not practical. Anyway, there's the, there we are on the Y. You can probably see the whole thing shaking because of my stupid damn floor. Now this is biased very slightly to the right, which is to make sure that when I get to the end of the travel there, I'm pretty much at the end of my Z this way. Alright, so I'm going to put everything back together and plug in, and well, you can see if I look at this display, zero that. So that's counting on there. So I'm going to put all the bits back, get this back over and see if everything works properly. Okay, let's wrap this up. Darn sight shorter than the x-axis, isn't it? So, well, you've seen what it's like under there. I'll do a quick walk around handheld in a minute, and we'll get the table back across, and we're getting some readouts on both. Let's bring the camera around a minute. This DRO picks up all sorts of reflections. We just zero. I may yet mount it more solidly, but at the moment that's quite adequate. So I'm still a bit limited on the Y because of the cable till I get the right angle connector. So I'm going to come back towards me. Let's see now, that's hang on, let's zero again. And that's one revolution just coming up. There we are. That is with my inch lead screw. That wouldn't have happened with metric. I'll go back again as close as I can to the top. It's pretty close, possibly just a smidgen of backlash. And then on the X, well, I've got to go right across. All the way across, long way to go. I haven't even got back to the middle yet. So we're working across. Alright, that's far enough. Okay. Now I'll just do a quick walk around with the handheld. So there we are, there's the Y. Infinitely easier to do by comparison with the X. I'm repeating myself again, but that's functioning. And then let's try again. I was just swinging round to the front here. My memory card went full. I had to format it, and anyway, this is just a reminder for folks who hadn't seen the X-axis one. So we got the big standoff blocks. I know people have said it's vulnerable. Well, it probably is, but it certainly will not feasibly go on the back. And then in there we've got the standoff block and a fixing to the slider. And then as we showed just now, the display is up the top. May yet put it elsewhere. And the final thing, I keep repeating myself probably. Now there's the culprit, that damn cable. That's going to get in the way for the Z travel. I got a right angle one coming, which I'm hoping will just give me clearance. We'll see how we go with that. If really necessary, and I don't have to bother, I've left the cable clamp off the top here, and I could come up slightly, which would probably help. It means a bit of jiggling around and changing that back plate. So there we are. That's basically complete. I apologise for repetition between clips. Sometimes I forget what I've mentioned and what I haven't. And I'm sorry the X-axis one was so darn long. It was about 40 minutes by the time I put it together. And as you can tell, as my usual method, putting the sequence of events totally on the fly. Let's try this, let's try that, see if it works. No, it doesn't. Take it off, change it. like on the Y-axis I mentioned earlier, I was thinking of putting a piece of aluminum bar on there, but really quite unnecessary, and it sort of evolved reasonably well in the end. So there you go. Big thank you to all my subscribers. I mean, to me, a lot of people. But compared to some of our, shall we say, major engineering brethren, who are up in multiple thousands, that's a bit different, but I don't mind. I'm just very grateful for folks subscribing to see this old fart doing his thing. I'm not sure what's going to come next. I'll probably try and make that circle cutter for the plasma torch, which I did refer to in another video. And we've got, towards the end of the week, the temperatures are going to go absolutely stupid. It'll probably be too darn hot to work out here, so I may just be picking away at odd things. So the next video, I've no idea. You probably deserve a break from it, don't you? I think. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching. I would class this as more or less a success. And we'll see you again pretty soon, hopefully. Bye for now. Thanks for watching.